Hello, listeners, and welcome to SunGates Internet Radio. I'm your host, Konstantin Plavnik, Director of Operations for SunGates Center. Joining us today is Michael Melikov, the founder and president of SunGates Center. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Kostya.
How are you?
Very good, and I'm glad to participate in that program with our spiritual guest, Arbit.
Very, very special person.
Yes.
Well, some people talk to higher forces, some people talk to even to God. Today, we have one of those people in our studio. We are honored to have our guest, Ella Arbit. Hello, Ella, and welcome.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Great. Can you tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself?
Well, spiritual healer is what I were, and I began as a spiritual healer. Today, I would say, to simplify everything, I am one of you. I am one of those, and I am. I am is the presence of God that I have in me. My feminine side, my masculine side, all of that is all-encompassing love that God teaches me on an everyday basis. Professionally, I'm a healer. Professionally, I'm a medical professional, and proudly so, I would probably not interfere with that knowledge. But today, I want to describe what has happened to me as a female who lost her husband, who became one of his channel for communication. What it is in the world that we need to change, Father. And he comes to me and he says, many and all. In that respect, Kostya, I would love for you to ask me a question, maybe for a general public that would be more provocative. What is the first thing you want to ask from the top of your head?
Well, I'm very interested in the three-step program that we're offering here at SunGates Center. So can we talk a little bit about this program? It's called Faith, Hope, and Love. Okay, and the first part of that program is called the Law of Protection. What is the Law of Protection? Well,
a loving father in me says that the name of the program is Faith, Hope, and Love. Although he says about 70% of people don't even have the equipment to respond to these words. And surprisingly so, 70% of people don't need God. And that is the main topic of my conversation today. For me, as a medical professional who actually, on a spiritual journey, went to school called Integrative Medicine Fellowship, founded by Dr. Andrew Weil. He's a very famous man in this country. He is a proud father to many of us who graduated from his school. I can simply say that was the beginning of my journey. God led me to that school. I am a proud graduate. I finished school 2 years ago, but my schooling has not stopped. God led me on and on and on. And just recently, I came back from Hawaii from attendance of Quantum University's symposium, which represented 24 countries.
Oh, wow.
So in my world, there is a lot of symposium going on right now, and a lot of curiosity is leading me towards what is going on with us. You know, based on the structure, Father is answering through me right now because I'm his prophet a lot, but resemblance of the chaos is also taking place. And I'm switched in the mode where I can't even finish the sentence. So in reality, I can't even finish it. What happened? Is it my mind that's giving up? Is it Father who and I cannot move again, wills me into compliance with his will? What do you think is happening? Is this woman crazy? Can she talk? Evidently I can't. He wouldn't let me. So in my command, and he gave me a lot of command, I had to switch from his mode of communication, where he allowed, to mine. And what is that? My heart. And again, 70% of people do not own their hearts. What does it make them? A machine? A walking ego? Pronounce it the way you want, but it's not working. Why? We have a resemblance of humbled, working desire to achieve, not knowing where it's leading us and who is him and why. And like 2-year-olds, we're asking constant questions. But complaining that we cannot hear him. How can we? He's not going to bow down to us. He's going to find a prophet in every single person like me who needs him. What are the thoughts going through your mind right now?
Well, my next question would be if, myself or some of our listeners want to get closer to God. How would they or I go about that? Should we go to a place of worship? That's kind of the question that's in my mind here.
It's a purposeful question, he says. And thank you, son, for giving me the option. Although I am not religious, although my clause with him, my covenant with God says strictly about I cannot fulfill that mission. In this reality, in this lifetime, I cannot lead people to religion. I've done it all my previous lifetimes in this, and I fell for it. And God allowed me to lose my life over that. And in this reality, in this space, in this time, I'll be talking nonsense that they love to listen about. What for? So what for do we need God for? We're fine with our egos. We're entitled to our egos. This is the reality of today's world. Nobody talks about upfront. We came to fulfill a certain mission, and that is what the future holds. Ego rules right now. What, is it a mistake? The evolution is calling on us to think beyond, and beyond is the part that he teaches me, by the way. He gives me a little bit of taste of Kabbalah sometimes. So my tree, if anybody knows about Kabbalah, and my tree of life actually has the roots. So we go into branches, we go into building the tree of life a lot deeper than many prophets before me, many mystics before me went with him. How much do you want to know on the first session?
Okay.
Ella, I have a question to you. Please.
Absolutely, Michael.
What do you think God talking through you, and will it affect you if people don't believe you, if they don't believe in God, they don't believe of what you say? How you proceed to explain something God telling you?
Strangely so, he prepared me for this question when I first began, when he attempted to resurrect my ego by saying, I need you. And formerly, I didn't believe in anything. I was part of some kind of a design that revolutionary ego of Dr. Lenin from created for us. So I was a proud product of I don't need anybody. And who am I today is a complete difference, complete turnaround of what God actually gave me. Lost in space, I would say, before coming out of a structure that didn't fulfill itself, communism. I came out and I found him only because he came to me. Would I be looking? Absolutely not. But being a mystic, I know that I was entitled to it. How did I come to terms with what was actually written for me, presented later? I cannot explain right now. It's too soon. I'm going to become a very simple structure right now, standing on one foot and everything else up in the air. This is who we all are right now. We all are standing on one foot because ego is not entitled to 2 feet. So you cannot be steady, mind, body, and spirit, and present good ideas if you only have a limitation. Well, somebody's trying to, maybe you're implying that ego is an invalid. It's valid. It can live. It cannot fulfill the mission. It will all denying ego, me, I want to do whatever I want, comes back to God, comes back, and the structure falls because God embraces that ego and says, my dear child.
Right, but I was asking about personally you, if it affects you, if you're talking to people and people saying, no, I don't believe it and I don't want to follow. So how you proceed with them? Will you leave them with all they have in their mind, or you will try to prove something?
Not
You
because
will leave them.
Not because I ego doesn't exist. I, God within I, can function beyond their egos, beyond their limitations, see them for who they are, not who they want to present themselves as, but believing that they can give themselves a little bit more structure, a little bit more divinity. And it's a mix. Studying under Dr. God, Dr. I know that, and Dr. Oz comes to my mind. I don't know why. Interfering with my ego, playing along a little bit. Okay. What you're seeing right now, the interconnection of all. By the way, I'm studying the theory of how we all interconnected, interrelated. If you're talking, and God is smiling, says egos are interrelated. By the way.
Can you kind of brush more on that subject? How are they interrelated?
There is a structure out of the chaos. It's very superficial for us to think that we are not connected to divine. Divine actually structured us very well. We go into ignorance and we don't want to know simply because God wants us to. As a mystic, I studied. He doesn't want me to subject many people to something they don't want to know, which is, may I please, Father, matrix. So I switched to. I'm a little rebellious right now, and I am in between two states: my mind and his mind. And he's going to block me. Honestly, I know what he's suggesting right now. I'm going to block you because you cannot be all enticing ego. You can be my way, which is a prophet, or stay where you are, pleasing all. So to answer Michael's question, I'm not a pleaser. I'm a devotee. So as a proud girl of his, as a kid, as a scientist, and he showed me the future, I actually know what kind of, I will have a Nobel Prize. So I will be a novelty, and I know ahead of time what I will have in the future. So see me for who I am. I actually know what I'm like. Why is he bringing all those goodness, craziness to my world? I'm entitled. Now, the entitlement program doesn't come from ego. It comes from my heritage. Being a Hebrew, being a Jewish woman, that I didn't know I was entitled to anything, simply says, just take it. There's a lot of proud fatherness up there. Mm-hmm. Just bring it. Bring yourself closer to me by an inch, and I'll give you a fortune, a ton, a love, and joy. Mm-hmm. That's how he is. So is it structured? Is it a program? Is it divinity? Is it a choice? What are we? Life is sacred. There's a lot that's given to us. How many questions do we want to ask in one program? Michael, you had a couple of them in your head. I see them swirling.
No.
I see the code of your thoughts. They all are good except for one. No, I'm just kidding.
Because you see something no one sees.
Code. We're coded. Code. So
that's
my
right.
teacher, my God, taught me how we're coded. It's incredible, by the way.
So can you kind of fill us in a little bit on, how should I word this? How Father, in your words, talks through you, and how, kind of brush up on that, let our audience know, how the divinity happens within you.
Okay. We are divinity. We are the source. We are to the point that we don't know. Okay? Even ego is part of that structure. How he says, you want to go ahead and do it? Yeah. He actually controls our ego as well. Mm-hmm. Don't break anybody's necks, but it's the reality. He showed me. He decoded every single structure within us with true love, and that is, he is in control of all. Now, laugh at me, kinder me, do whatever you want, but he's in control. Now, is it a major discovery that he's controlling the world, or we are controlled, we're manifest? Okay. Manifest is very Jewish part of who we are. Shahina, who came to me by Jewish traditions, God comes to a woman, and Shahina is the force that you, he says, belong to, manifests itself under Father's supervision. So did I lose any of that? I've retained my ego to the point where he said, okay, give it to me. And he gave it back to me. Was it a game? Was it it was a joy. Now, the way he teaches is very kind. I had to seclude myself a little bit too much, more than I wanted or wished for, but it has worked. Today, scientists are teaching themselves on how to decode my mind. This is how he communicates with us. How? Vibrationally, and other ways that he's not going to break until the future shows that we're able to discern more of what I'm speaking about, so it doesn't go to waste. It could be next generation. It could be still me. I'm not too proud. Whatever he gives me, I'm grateful for. Michael.
Ella, what about your family? Do they follow you? Do they agree with you? Do they disagree?
I don't know, and it doesn't matter.
You never ask them? Your children?
I would exclude this question.
Okay.
Honest to God, it doesn't matter because I am who I am, and structurally, I wish for all to know the difference between connections in the family are very sacred.
Okay.
So what comes into a sacred, by the way, I want to mention something about sacred journeys. So I'm grateful for this question. Sacred journeys and how to relate and what we're doing together here is very important, that should not be thrown away. I think it deserves a reaction from everybody. I will be teaching through this channel of command. Father is speaking through me right now more seriously. And by the way, before it was my free will playing, so I do have a free will. Through me, he will be teaching the rest of the world, whoever wants to join, about sacred journeys. Sacredness of love, not just life, should be explained a little bit more deeper, and sacred we are. So life and love grow together within I as a source, not just a spirit. A lot of people feel that they are a spirit in a human body. It's a little arrogant to believe that. We're more than a spirit. Mm-hmm. We are to be fulfilled as a mind, body, and spirit, and divine part of it. So there are four discrete tensions that go through decision-making within us. And honestly speaking, as a medical professional, I would prefer to give time to ourselves first, to answer your question a little bit more deeper. Once you're chosen to give yourself everything, then you go beyond you, and that is integrative relationship between you and another person. It's only healthy. That way, we deserve to have a free society, free will, loving, and credibility will go back to the source of teaching you today, which probably will take place, Papa, 25, 30 years, just to be honest. So let's not hurry. Let's just deserve a chance. And by the way, why chance? I actually came to all these realizations 100 years a little too soon. And when we rationally started to ask each other, okay, Ella, you're 100 years a little bit too quick. And I said, okay, let's go. Let's try. Let's give it an opportunity. Why wait? There's so much more we can do with disease process, with prevention, with crisis prevention, and no more wars. So there is a lot to do, a lot to discern in between the words, by the way, too. So when I'm finished, when we're off the air, Father will begin work with surrendering their egos to the point that they need to surrender. So who am I to describe everything in this program?
Ella, I'd like to ask you next question. I won't go over like 100 years ago, like you just said, but let's do a couple years, maybe 4 years. What do you think? You travel all throughout the country and you meet lots of people, you're making consultation, you're doing the seminars. How people accept everything you say 2 years ago, 4 years ago, and now? Is consciousness of people increased, or people are ready for new something coming now?
It's the Nobel Prize that I'm going to win. Okay. So strictly speaking, you have a visionary.
You're next.
Okay, you have a visionary within you who grabbed that idea from the future and brought it down here to this program. So congratulations.
Thank you.
The world view instantly has changed. How we see ourselves has to go away, and new knowledge, new coming, new ideas will be welcomed. How many souls can we wake up today will depend on God's will. How many people will come out okay from all these conversations? Everybody. Every inch that we can make today forward will be disaster prevented. Why? Crises are ahead. That's why I'm outspoken. I belong to those who mention very little probably right now compared to what God, for whatever reason, He's stopping me.
So you don't want to scare people who are listening to us, right?
I have no wish right now. I have His way.
Okay.
And He's stopping me. He's protective. I would love to come out with a law of protection, He said to me, and His idea prevails. What is ego today? Ego rules the world where He does not become.
That's obvious and correct.
So divinity in us has very legitimate structure in so many once a week.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we had to stop the program for a second because Ella felt that Father, who was talking to her, had to stop the channeling. So actually one of the main cameras completely stopped, went out, and the power was lost by itself. So that's a little strange, but to say the least. But let's get back. Ella, are you comfortable with getting back on?
Well, my comfort zone was compromised a little bit. Why? As advanced as my soul is, and by the way, I sit on genome. Genome is where my spirit has landed. And my genome, it's a structure where I already rebuilt my psychology. By the way, that's a future medicine. Prevented me from being flexible with a little. I felt a little guilty. I will tell you. I will explain how I felt. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's what's phenomenal. I don't know. I'm just going to use I felt a little pretentious. I felt that I was not distinguished enough. I felt that it was a little bit of a game, and I've lost that ability to play games. Mm-hmm. Why? There's no need. When you speak directly to divine and you raise yourself, you had spoken about consciousness.
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Father is giving me some instructions right now. Go ahead. Okay. As a divine source, I know the divination process. The higher self that people call themselves a lot is actually a very basic structure. I began my level on higher self. I always work on that level and beyond, but I had no idea. If we start calling ourselves advanced at that level, we're not going to fulfill the structure that I've accomplished. Sitting on genome, and he just switched me to genome, that goes beyond me. Switching back and forth goes beyond me. It's such a stable place. I'm speaking from that genome right now, that I had to rebuild with Father because my lifeline had to change a little bit. Mm-hmm. I accepted a lot more knowledge, a lot more sophistication, where we had to rewire me, refunction me, and rebuild a little bit. So who are we? Beyond us, we don't even know how advanced we can be within 4-year period. And I'm speaking, honest to God, 4 years, and that's how long it took me to advance myself. We're under-accomplished, under-preserved, and under-honored if we don't listen. He's asking me to be a little bit more modest. He says, I have to apologize for underestimating us, that's Father says, because He's a gentle Father as well. He chose us not to run. Archangel Michael is telling me right now. He's helping me with words. And that's part of the program. They're allowed to participate. He always, when Michael was a little bit of a trainer, he started with me, honestly, God. And he took me by hand and he walked very slowly. Mm-hmm. For me, it didn't work. He had to tell me a couple of times, are you a long distance runner? Can you slow down? And I couldn't slow down, honestly. Maybe sophistication of a species from evolutionary point is underestimated to this point because we accomplished a lot. I was able to push with their responsiveness to me. I had to command a little bit more on my behalf. And honest to God, I changed a lot of perceptions that God had for me, and we rebuilt together. So we started to co-create.
Mm-hmm.
That was not written for me for this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But it went so easy. He carried me. When I showed up this strong, and I was told, God never ignores it.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me opportunity to grow so fast, so exponentially, that he was thrilled. And he loves it. Do we play around? Yes, we do. Honestly, God, we do. Why? It's very intimate. How do I know him? Very personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it becomes a treasure at this level. It becomes, I think we need to push beyond our egos so we can all land on the land of opportunity where he can stretch his hand and say, you're my kid, you're my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
you're my papa. It's so personable that we're entitled as Jews, we're entitled to that, but he can manifest. He showed me how he can manifest. Do we want to believe? Honest to God, I don't care. I gave myself an opportunity. My kids will. I know there will be a will for my kids. I already protected 3 generations ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
We already spoken. So not only not devastated, okay, I devastated somebody, that's fine. My ego is preserved, and 3 generations beyond me will be. So, which means that we'll be selected for ongoing projects with God,
Mm-hmm.
and mazel tov. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Am I careful about saying this? Do I have to be careful? I don't. Beyond me, I'm not entitled to preserving anybody's life if they are ignorant enough not to protect themselves
Mm-hmm.
from what they don't need to be protecting their egos for.
Right. Right. So in regards to egos, as individuals, kind of walk me through the process of what, let's say, I am somebody that is in need of ego healing, so to speak. What sort of steps do you take as far as clients coming in to talk to you as far as healing their egos? Kind of give me a little brief description for the audience of kind of what the preview looks like for the classes here.
I will be writing a lot of literature on that. A lot has to be restructured. Ego is there for a very good reason, not to be removed.
Mm-hmm.
It has disclaimed itself not honestly so far. Ego is a beautiful part of who we are. It needs to be serving the right purpose. But if people don't have the hearts, 70% we started talking about, don't have the hearts, they don't have a purpose. They're living frictions. They're structures that are devoted to wrong purposes, again, fulfilling their ego needs. But the claim that ego has to have is pride. Okay? So we don't have terrorists in this lifetime, that they don't jargon us with bullshit, that we don't have to survive because they want us to be shippers and ship our egos God knows where to the destinies and beyond. I would prefer to speak of ego as something that we were honored with, that belongs to us, but how to handle we have to know first. So I wouldn't change a thing. I would just crack their ego in half and say, okay, the other half you don't have to have. Just listen with the purpose of, I need to protect my ignorance a little bit more and give myself a little bit of knowledge until I have time to sit down and God and I will rewrite a little bit of what other prophets, so-called, cooked up in their kitchen and never asked God how to describe us. So Psychology of Belief would be the book that I know that I will be coming up with. Mm-hmm. How soon? I don't ask those. Ignorance in me doesn't need to know when God allows me to sit down.
Right.
When He
He
feels it's a correct time for me to give myself the joy of writing, and God knows I love to write. Mm-hmm. It has to be the right, correct time by His law. And law of protection has to come first. Law of protection is what we're entitled to having. It's like a Band-Aid He allowed to have because I accomplished a lot. He's going to support our structure a little bit more. So lack of ignorance is not His problem. Mm-hmm. Okay. So He has to rebuild a couple of walls in a couple of scientific legal documentations where we're going to go forward. So He has a plan, no disclosure at this time, but there is a glimpse of hope, I hope, that ego can have. Papa came to me a couple of times and we had discussion what we need. We need protection. He came to me several times. He says, everybody wants the protection, but everybody is afraid to say it. They all are good. How are you today? And the answer is always, I'm fine. So, secretly so, he knows.
Of course.
Yeah.
He is God, so.
he belongs to us. He's our Father, but we need to find the child within to bring God closer.
Makes sense. Okay, so the workshop 3-step program is going to be called Faith, Hope, and Love. Law of Protection is going to be the first part. And if any of our listeners would like to have a little bit more information on how to reach out to Ella with any kind of questions, comments, or concerns, and sign up for the workshop, you can go to your email and type in info@thesungates.com and shoot us an email in regards to any kind of questions or concerns, or if you would like to sign up for our workshop with Ella Arbit. So once again, that's info@thesungates.com.
And also phone number we have.
Yes, absolutely. And you can reach us.
Oh, yeah, I can say it. It's 847-226-9956. If you have question to Konstantin, if you have question to Ella, if you have question to Michael, to me, or what's the program all about? And again, it will be online program, as I understood, right?
Yes. Father has predicted that we have a horrific winter this time. He's came out with the support for everybody for a good purpose. So to delineate our problems in the reflective mode of who we are, what's coming to us. Winter, yeah, maybe it's a good idea to have a cold winter so we can sit down and work on ourselves. And maybe
in the comfort of our own home.
And maybe springtime
absolutely.
will be true beautiful springtime of recoveries of our ego that suffer through the winter time.
It will be, I'm sorry, it will be once a week program or once a month.
The sacred journeys will come out as winter unfolds once a month. Truly, what the rationale was between God and I, we decided that, and actually He spoken and I agreed, honestly, internally, that they need to teach themselves. So after I uncover certain parts of mysticism, Kabbalah, sacred, people will look at things differently. Couple of lessons will come their way. It's a journey after all, so they have to sit down, work, step out of their ego, discover, come back and listen to another lecture, another presentation in a month. Once a month is a good structure for what God has designed for us. Clinically speaking, revolutionary speaking, His way speaking, I'm entitled to His support. So as I was growing my ego, not distracting it, He supported me energetically. His love has a potion lotion that He's had. It's beautiful. It's very sacred energy that He's giving me to help out. Now it's the time to talk about this energy. It's crystalline energy. Mm-hmm. It's one of a kind. It's His energy. As a child of His, I know how beautiful this energy is. It just flushes you with love. Mm-hmm. It's so pure that your body vibrates to the point that I don't want to use the words. Mm-hmm. It's so healing. You become so proud. You attach yourself to His feelings. And He has plenty of that, by the way. So energetically, we will be selecting probably people. I don't know how the process is going to go. It's up to Him. But I, Ella, through Him, being His channel, will be not chastised, hopefully, for supporting other people through the winter times. What it's good for, immune system. I was flying last winter from Arizona to Chicago, change of climates, airplanes. Not a single time I got sick. Mm-hmm. Somehow He prepared me. My structure, my cell structure is already different. I function differently based on His exposure to His science, not our modern whatever. Don't want to joke about. I'm a mystic. So energy healing will be coming daily. He's asked for 5 times a week, Monday through Friday, 15 minutes. I hope people welcome this idea, and it's going to help their egos. It's going to help them to survive. It's going to speak for itself. How beautiful it is, it's just God made. And so that's the structure. Our radio programs will come out once a month, and they will be replayed. There will be a lot of support, a lot of promise. And fulfillment is up to all of us. So if we are supported, we'll continue. If not, I have other projects that Ella can do for me, he says. So welcome it, like it, and it's going to stay. We don't have to change the world within a short period of time. There are scientific information that will be coming through me. We don't have to reteach people today. I don't have to ask people to listen to me. I don't have to. But I would love to. I would love for my kids, my future generations, to live not in an anarchy of egos, to live proudly.
Amongst them.
Today,
right.
I'm in a free world. So within short 4 years, I've traveled so much with him that I became free. I ascended, by the way. Is it possible? Don't ask me. I did it.
I assume, along with that program, people who want to have consultation with you on a personal basis, it will be...
Come to Chicago. Freeland.
Is it possible talking to you through the Skype, say? Or you prefer to talk to people just face-to-face?
I know Father told me, he taught me that there will be influx of people coming to Chicago. What happens with all this information, I don't know. So I will wait to answer this question. It's his prerogative. I think he wants that to happen. Maybe he is not giving us all the information. He just wants us to unleash the force and begin. So how it's going to happen?
At least to next program.
Patience.
Right?
By the way, patience was a horrendous lesson for me. He taught me, it was a second lesson that he taught me. Discernment was the first. I did okay with discernment. Patience was not my favorite lesson, but he had to reteach it a couple of times. But it came, I welcomed it. I welcomed because as a prophet, this is what we have to have. It comes along with hope. It attaches itself to hope. So he gave us a promise. Let's match him with our hopes that it can exist, that we can be supported, that we can be proud, and we can be accomplished as well.
Ella, and I guess, Konstantin, our next program will be in a week, right? Same day?
Yes, same day, same time, 1 week from now. So,
and also, I'd like to mention, tomorrow we will go on a different channel, and all information will be found through Facebook. First of all, we have 2 channels on Facebook. It's SunGates. And SunGates Radio. SunGates Radio, it's mostly Russian channel, and SunGates is English only. And tomorrow it will be the channel who are Russian-speaking audience will be listening to Ella, and I will be with her. And tomorrow at the same time, we start at 11 o'clock, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, 11 a.m. Chicago time, CST. So tune in, and we'll be listening what Ella going to say.
And just to conclude one more time, the law of conclusion, law of protection, has come to us so we can rationally live and prosper. So law of protection is what Father wants to give to all of us, so we don't sacrifice our ego, so we support our structure and become honest people within the realm of thought, within our hearts, and our spirits can thrive as well. It's his mandate that we talked about it, and it's his pride to accomplish it with us. So law of protection is coming out. Feel free to talk to others amongst yourselves and mention to others that there is a law of protection that is not a secret that will be honored with.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Great, fantastic. It's really good to talk to you, Ella. Thank you so much for your participation on the program. Michael, thank you.
Thank you, Constantine.
And thank you, our viewers. We will broadcast once again next weekend at the same time. See you then. Take care.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.